Howdy, Cup, and welcome to another episode here for the Funk Report. It's slightly past Monday, and you know what it means. MMA Monday. What happened in the media Monday-wise? See, I'm still tired. MMA-wise. How did the media cover certain aspects? How did fighters, promotions use the media? And, of course, also, as always, the One Championship breakdown. All right, so not because I'm sponsored by One Championship, but because I think there are so many breakdown shows about the UFC and Bellator, and so I'm just focusing on one, and for all the other promotions I just talk about how the media is being used and should be used and so on, because again that's usually what I work with every day. Okay, let's jump right into it because there's so much to talk about, yet not that much to talk about. Why? Because, well, the UFC was and with the main event falling out, double Here also already, by the way, media usage terrible. Was just like, oh, we think the Derek Lewis fight is off, and the Derek Lewis fight is off, and that's it. It's like, how do you communicate? You're so good at like all those pay-per-views and stuff, but this, the way they communicated it, like, oh, by the way, it's off. It's terrible. It's just terrible. They should have explained like what, why, when, how, what they're gonna do now, how Derek Lewis is doing. Maybe people are concerned about Derek Lewis because people like Derek Lewis. So the UFC is only good at using media when they really want to, but when they have to improvise or I don't know, things not having them planned out well, it seems like it's not their forte. So if you need someone that is better with media, UFC, I'll send you some of my students. I don't even mean to like say that I would do it. I'll send you some of my students who will gladly help you there if you pay them well enough. That is, of course. Listening to Paulo Costa yesterday on Submission Radio, apparently the UFC doesn't pay well. I'm kidding, right? I mean, every fighter who's at the end of a contract says that. Okay, so that's it. Main event was fun-ish, I guess. The Vanessa was great again. Yeah, so it was a fun enough event, nothing to write home about though. The next one seems to be better, actually pretty good card for a fight night, so we will definitely talk about this. In regards to the next one, of course, it's a fight night, so no one's really caring in terms of media usage, unfortunately, but luckily the two main eventers, they care, and it's a good thing. Kevin Holland versus Wonderboy Stephen Thompson, and they both put stuff out on the media all the time. I mean, Stephen Thompson with his Technique Tuesdays, the breakdowns and everything. I don't like his podcast; it's a bit lame, says the guy with the lame podcast. It's also maybe because like his brother doesn't have like that brother-in-law, right? Has that energy that I'm expecting, I think. But other than that, his video stuff is great. Kevin Holland always somewhere, anyways. I am also not the biggest fan of his podcast, also maybe because of the co-host there. But they now just came together. They did a podcast together. They're going to fight each other and they did a podcast together. That's cool. That's all right. If your personalities match and stuff, put your names out there by yourself. So that's a good job, Stephen Thompson, Kevin Holland. That's how you do it. If the UFC doesn't do it, you do it. I like it. Good job. Otherwise, media-wise this week, I think there wasn't really that much to write home about again. Chandler was on Ariel again. And Michael Chandler is just great with words and how to use the media, of course. Like, it's motivational stuff, always says the right things. Talks about his sons, blah, 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 boring, because he's just too perfect. If you want to copy someone, copy Michael Chandler, right? Yeah, of course. Calling out Conor again and again and again. Now even if you're losing. So he's doing the right thing in terms of media usage, where to appear, how to utilize it, and so on. See you at the top. Then we had Bellator. I'm actually talking about Bellator. We had Bellator. I'm only talking about it because Usman Nurmagomedov is the champion. He's now 200,000 to 0 or something. Then Nurmagomedov is running MMA. Congratulations. We're not reviewing the fights here, even though it's Bellator, no one watches anyways, but yeah, so media-wise, I'm not sure. I think Bellator just tries too hard to hedge themselves to Khabib. There's something that one does, though. There was like one fighter from Khabib's stall gym And they also like, oh, that's Khabib's guy. Islam Makhachev is here to corner him. So they're trying to hatch their wagons too much to the UFC, I believe. Like, just build him by yourself. But then he FaceTimes Khabib. I mean, yeah, it's cute, but it's also a little bit like, I know what you're doing. So try to be your own person. Try to build your own brand. That goes for Bellator and ONE as well as for the fighters. Don't just hatch yourself to Khabib. Even though Khabib was awesome, but don't just do that. Main event, Vadim Nemkov, not rolls. It was a fight, but I mean, Corey Anderson didn't have really a chance there. Media-wise, Vadim Nemkov not doing much, obviously. Unfortunately, learned some more English, man. And I hate to say that as a non-native speaker myself, or like actually maybe I'm the one who can say that because I'm a non-native English speaker. And as you can hear, I still have an accent, but at least you can verbalize what you're feeling. Like, so, dude, Vadim, all the other foreign fighters do that. I mean, you've seen it with Manny Moicano on Ariel on like this past Monday, I think. Like, it was hilarious. Like, Moicano wants money now that he speaks English. Perfect. The guy's money. The guy's on fire, so do that. Yeah, same thing with Paulo Costa. If you learn it, then people will come to you. Like, Paulo Costa is one of the most liked fighters right now. Who would have thought that? Like, awesome. So, unfortunately, you have to learn the language of the country that your promotion is in. Makes just sense, I think. Okay, if you do that, you can hopefully carve your path that you're going to be taking by yourself. And now, speaking of path that we're taking, let's talk about ONE Championship as well. They had 2 events again, which I appreciate because they had the on Prime Video event. It's always for the US market, so it's always like very early here in Thailand. It starts very early and it goes until like maybe 10 a.m. or so. And then they have an event in the evening again for the Asian audience. Let's talk about one on Prime. Let's talk about one on Prime 4, the one that most of you might have seen if you're into ONE. We had the main event between Kiamrian Abbasov and Christian Lee. Abbasov missed weight before, so they already stripped him of the title. So he wasn't eligible to win it, but if he would won the match, he would have been the number 1 contender. Christian Lee is the champion of the lower weight class. He moved up to welterweight to take on Abbasov. The first time ever I saw Christian Lee without a six-pack due to the muscles, the weight that he put on. And usually Christian Lee comes out like a bat out of hell, like just goes for it. This case, Abbasov came out like crazy and put it on Christian Lee and had him in all sorts of trouble. He had him wobbled real bad. If Mark Goddard was the ref and not Herb Dean, Goddard might have stopped it already. And I'm not saying Goddard stops fights too early. I'm just saying Herb Dean let this run out like it was, it was the right call in the end, so well done, Herb Dean. So he's seen enough, I guess, to let Christian Lee continue. But man, he seemed in all sorts of trouble and basically out on his feet and stumbling backwards against the cage. Like, oh god, that looked terrible. That looked like almost like the first one that Angela Lee was in. But yeah, so again, the Lee thing, fighting through it. So good job. And yeah, eventually taking it to Abbasov, and Abbasov was gassing so bad. He had his hands on his hips in between. Oh god, that was terrible. Like, I don't know what the game plan was. It was like, okay, I missed weight so much, I'm totally out of shape for some reason. So let's just swing for the fences the first 5 minutes and then just hope I get him. Because afterwards, he was still dangerous. He was still swingy, but he clearly had nothing left in the tank. And so Christian Lee outpaced him eventually. And then cruised to a UD victory. No, he did. Was it a UD victory? No, it was a TKO, wasn't it? I'm sorry already. Yeah, I remember Herb Dean stepping in. See, it's so many fights on ONE Championship. But yes, once Christian Lee took over, then he was also gassed. He was also tired AF. But he was still hitting the better shots. He was hitting it, or he was landing, while Abbasov wasn't landing much anymore. It was only the danger of can he connect with a power shot after he had his hands on his hips for a while and throwing something again. So yeah, then actually Herb Dean had step in and stop it. So yeah, congratulations, Christian Lee, double champ. I'm not sure how he does against like someone that's actually fit. That was embarrassing. I'm sorry. Of course he would kick my ass, but it was embarrassing for like a reigning defending champion to look like out of shape like this. Like Christian Lee would also be in better shape. I mean, if he sticks to that weight class now, or I don't know, maybe it's gonna get easier if he does it more often. I don't know, but he'll probably also optimize his training. I hope, because like again, he didn't look like the Christian Lee that we know. Like he wasn't in that great of a shape, and of course it's because he put on weight and muscles and so on. But maybe he'll get used to it, or maybe they find a better way to train for that or something. If they take more time or something, then he hopefully will be as explosive as he is in the weight class below. Now, congratulations, Christian Lee. That was a very, very intense, a very, very Lee fight. Very intense. Okay, then the co-main event was Rotang Ironman Chitmanong versus Joseph Lassiri, champion versus champion. Joseph Lassiri came up the weight class to face Rotang. It's kind of funny because Joseph Lassiri looked actually bigger than Rotang, but Joseph Lassiri is the champion in the weight class below Rotang. That's interesting. So Lassiri, I think, strawweight champion. It was a flyweight championship bout, and yeah, it was just panned out the way everyone expected it to pan out, like Rotang walking him down, Lassiri not really doing much. He was landing a few shots. He bruised Rotang over the left eye, which is something not everybody can do. But other than that, he was just on his bicycle the whole time. Rotang was even I think third round onwards, Rotang was making fun of him. It was like just walking around. Rotang was dancing around, was like imitating like Lassiri being scared, running away mid-fight. He was calling him out like to come to the middle and just fight. Rotang was only chasing him down the whole time. Lassiri landed a few shots, a few teeps and so on, which was nice, but other than that, it was all Rotang. It was just one-way traffic. We had Bibiano Fernandez also then versus Stephen Lohman, where Stephen, like I said earlier, unfortunately, I'm all for Bibiano Fernandez, but Stephen Lohman was on a run more or less, and yeah, unfortunately I saw it going that way, and Stephen Lohman took the UD here. We had Cosmo Alexander in his retirement fight, and he gets the knockout win over Juan Cervantes, and then retires, which is just the perfect ending, of course, for Cosmo Alexander, like an OG in the Muay Thai game. He was fighting here in Thailand like forever ago, like the Kings tournament and things like this. So he's a, if you only know him for the Sage Northcutt knockout, like he's a Muay Thai legend before he moved into MMA a little bit and then now retired in this Muay Thai fight. So yeah, Cosmo Alexander, like congratulations to a career, man. You're a legend, dude, like an OG. Was fun watching him one more time and winning one more time. I did enjoy that. And we had a brutal stoppage by Kim Jae-woong against the former contender Kevin Bellingham. How the mighty have fallen. So there was no discussion. Kim Jae-woong just put it on Kevin Bellingham. He went to the ground, he followed up with shots, and then that was that. In the lead card, just very quickly, because I announced it in the preview show, basically, we had Jonathan Haggerty versus Vladimir Kuzmin. Haggerty got the majority decision in this case. That was a bit uninspired, to be honest. I expected more from Haggerty. I know he's kicking my ass. I'm just saying, like, usually you have like those expectations for Jonathan Haggerty fights. In this case, didn't really pan out the way I expected it to be. We had Daniel Kelly, of course, winning in round 1 against Maria Moljanova, and now Angela Lee said she would sub and Daniel Kelly. So now they think about like a super grappling fight between Angela Lee and Daniel Kelly. Anything to not have Angela Lee fight MMA again. And in the opening bout, we had Liam Nolan versus Eddie Abasolo. And that was actually a funnish fight to watch, like a little bit back and forth, but then Liam Nolan clearly took the UD, and I think there's no controversy, obviously, if you've seen the fight. So it was a fun card. Overall, like, again, one championship, besides being like totally fishy when it comes to their finances and to their weird hydration / weight tests. Otherwise, the cards are fun. See, I'm not just hating. The cards are fun, and the card that came afterwards, the evening card for Asia time, was also fun. It was headlined by Hiroki Akimoto, the bantamweight kickboxing world champion, against Pat Fergus, which is someone who you might not have known. You think, like, oh, a new Thai fighter? No, an old Thai fighter. Pat Chanong is 37, I believe. The Thai fighter with the most fights of all the fighters right now, 400-something professional fights, the most experienced fighter in the world, that's how they called him. And he put it on Akimoto, and he just stuck to his game plan. It was beautiful. It was just fantastic game plan. Like Akimoto, the young, shredded machine from Japan, like, yeah, let's go. And Pat Chanong, like the 37-year-old, also well in shape, but you can see that he's like not the 20-something-year-old with a six-pack. And he just stuck to his game plan like perfectly. He was just keeping the guy away. Then a step through knee, a few jabs, step through knee, kick, step through knee, kick, step through knee, step through knee, step through, like the same every time. Like Akimoto came in, he would land a step through knee, and then like would just hammer that left kick to the right side of Akimoto. Like round 2, and Akimoto's right side was so red. It looked worse than in any movie, like ridiculous. So props to Akimoto for like hanging in there until the end. But it was a clear win, and how this ended up to be a split decision is a disgrace. One championship, your judges, disgraceful once again. This was a clear shutout. You could say maybe 4-1 and not 5-0, but that was ridiculous. Like, this is a split decision, ridiculous. Like, that just shows like that the judges are clearly paid off. Ridiculous. Co-main event was Roman Kruklia versus Irash Asispour. Asispour it was for the heavyweight kickboxing world championship. Such a long word. Kruklia won the World Cup, whatever they call it, before, so to get the shot at the world championship. And Asispour was all, yeah, I'm good. He's not a good fighter, blah blah. Once they were in there, Kruklia just looks like the machine, like that. Yeah, and Asispour just looks like a heavyweight. And Asispour rocked him early on. You're like, oh, what's happening? But after that, it was just Kruklia, and he TKO'd him in round 2. So congratulations, Roman Kruklia. That was the setback in the early stages of round 1, but after that it was pretty dominant, so that looked very well. What was really sad was that then Khabib's protege, Saigid Isagagmaev, demolished Shinya Yoki, and it was just, I mean, they didn't even look like they belonged in there together. Not because of the skill set, maybe, but also like age-wise, physique-wise. So what they're doing to Shinya Yoki right now is just ridiculous. But I mean, Shinya Yoki says yes to everything apparently, but that was just ridiculous. They did not look like they should be in there together. I felt really bad watching Shinya Yoki getting demolished like that. It was really, really, really sad. What was not sad was Yushin Okami versus Ong Lan Sang, the Burmese Python fighting out of Killcliff FC. With Henry Hooft. Henry Hooft was there too. And Ong Lan Sang was like vintage Ong Lan Sang. It was great. So he got the win, TKO stoppage. And then afterwards, Henry Hooft had like a picture of Rumble Johnson, who passed away this past week, right? And Ong La was holding it up, like doing the same pose that Rumble used to do. That was pretty touching, actually. So that was well done and well deserved, and a great gesture by Team Killcliff FC. So that was nice to see. Appreciate it. Also nice to see Henry Hooft being there at one event. That was pretty nice to see there. All right, I don't go through the whole card now, but I think that's the most important or most exciting event if fights on the card. Otherwise, again, a nice card, not as good as the prime one, but still a nice card. And the next one is in like 9 days or so we still have a week to go before we do another breakdown for one championship. One thing I have to say though, so while the quality of the event and stuff is always great at one championship, the media, from a fighter's point of view, there isn't much. Like, the only one who's putting stuff out there is Mighty Mouse by himself, I think. Other than that, I do follow lots of them, and lots of them are just posting training videos and stuff. And guys, girls, people, fighters at one championship, think about building your brand. You're not even earning as much as a UFC fighter, I guess, like, depending like who you are. Of course, Mighty Mouse probably earns more, but other than that, like, think about your brands, man. you can't be doing this forever. So start creating content that engages people. Like I just followed a few people from the lead card to check them out, and they have less followers than me. Like, guys, how that's not okay. So please work on that. And if you need help, especially one like, I know it sounds like cocky to assume that fighters, athletes would listen to this podcast, but just in case this pops up somewhere here around Asia even, and if you're a fighter at one championship and you need help with your communication and your marketing and whatnot, just drop me a line. I'm not even kidding. Funkitpod, at Funkitpod on socials, funkitpod@gmail.com, or find my personal information. You can see it everywhere. Get in touch. I'll make it a uni project. I'll have a student intern for you or something. They're happy to do some real work with people that they like. They're affordable still. I mean, I won't fair pay, but still affordable. And they're gonna create a cool strategy for you. So, like, by the off chance a fighter sees that, feel free to reach out, because what's happening right now is not that impressive, unfortunately. And in 10 years or so, you're done. So, all right. For those listening to a podcast, I was pointing at the camera saying get in touch. Okay, that's enough for this week's MMA Monday. We have to upload it so that you can actually listen to it and watch it now, because, hey, videos on Spotify. Who didn't want that? As always, thanks for joining. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to this thing. Rate the podcast if possible so we can reach a bigger fighting audience. And as always, stay safe, take care, and don't forget to keep your guard up. Saudi Cup.